Hello, everyone.
Hey Eddie, how's it going?
Hey, Robert.
So we're live streaming, just so you know.
We're live now. Apologies.
So greetings everyone and welcome to Oedipus Kingsley, a virtual read-through. Thanks for joining us. Let me give you a sense of how the event will unfold. I will begin with a brief introduction and then I'll ask each cast member to say which characters they'll be playing. After that, we'll end with a Q&A moderated by Creston Davis, the Chancellor of GCAS College. I wrote the screenplay Oedipus Kingsley 10 years ago while I was living in Chicago and pursuing an MFA in filmmaking. It's a contemporary adaptation for the screen, which is based on the famous tragedy by Sophocles, of relevance to Freud and psychoanalysts after him. The English translation I used was Ian Johnston's, with his permission, of course. My screenplay is a film within a film, and it's supposed to be set in Chicago, but it can probably be set anywhere in the world. Ted Richards, who will be reading today, was very supportive of this project a decade ago, to the extent that I was the Chicago Wisdom Project's artist in residence in 2011. I am appreciative of GCAS's support today, for they are co-sponsoring this free event and they help us with promoting it. I'm also very grateful for the amazing cast members who will be reading today. They are based in different parts of the world: Egypt, Mexico, Canada, the US, the UK, and Austria. And they are a diverse group of psychoanalysts, scholars, and artists. This is an ambitious project, which I hope to direct one day with a proper budget. If not directed by me, I hope to see it produced by someone else. In promoting this event, some of you probably saw the GIF that I created of Oedipus, or rather Rio from Street Fighter, endlessly attacking COVID-19 with a stream of Hadoukens, which don't seem to be affecting the virus. Hopefully the vaccine will be more effective. Incidentally, in Oedipus Rex, Thebes is plagued, as is our world today. I decided to put together this event for free because it's been a tough year for all of us, but it's been especially tougher on some more than others. So I hope that this virtual read-through will bring joy to some of you. And before I end, though, you should know that the screenplay contains some explicit language. So thank you very much for joining us today. All right, so I'm gonna call your name, and then you can tell us what characters you'll be playing today. So let's begin with Maria Costanza Coni Garrido Serralta.
Hi, I'll be reading the Sphinx, Jana Aphrodite, and also reading the screen directions.
Thank you. Ian Parker.
Hi, I'm reading Dr. Wolf and Laius.
Okay. Anti-racist, right? And Shireen Kayola.
Hello, everyone. I'll be reading for Jocasta and Cynthia.
Thank you. Kirsten Figarski.
I will be reading Marilyn and Hypatia.
Ali Nasser.
Hi, I will be reading for Oedipus or Amun.
Clint Burnham.
Hi, Clint here from Vancouver. I'll be reading Creon.
And Joshua. Fernanda Magallanes.
I'll be reading Rachel, Sappho, Robert, Hermes, and Chorus. I'll be part of the chorus.
Hilda Fernandez.
Hi there. From Vancouver, and Mexico. I'll be reading Nadia, Abilities, and part of the chorus.
Irene Strasser.
Hi, everyone. I'll be reading Barbara, Merapi, and Dan, and be part of the chorus.
Martin Dege. I couldn't hear. I think we weren't able to hear you, Martin. You want to try again?
Again, but you should be hearing me. Okay,
I can hear you now.
Okay, whatever that was. Sorry. So I'm reading Martin, naturally. Ken, the production designer. I have the honor to read Polybus, and I'll be part of the chorus. And of course, I'll be reading good old Socrates.
Thank you. Ted Richards.
Hi, I'll be reading David.
And last but not least, Adam Eddie Zidane. You're muted, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'll be reading Ed, the producer, Zeus, and Sophocles.
Thank you so much. All right. With that much said, Connie, I think you get to start us off. So go ahead.
Which creature in the morning goes on 4 legs, at midday on 2, and in the evening upon 3? And the more legs it has, the weaker it be. The Sphinx. Interior, Lincoln State University. Lecture hall, day. Kingsley, a professor of neuroscience in his early 30s, is lecturing.
I'm going to throw some questions at you that I basically came across while reading Discover magazine. The article is called 10 Unsolved Mysteries of the Brain, and it's written by David Eagleman.
He writes the name of the article on the whiteboard.
For the purpose of our lecture, I have selected the most fundamental questions. Nonetheless, those questions lie at the very core of the ever-evolving field of neuroscience.
He writes the questions on the board as he mentions them.
The questions are, and do take notes, I'm just kidding. What are emotions? What is intelligence? And last but not least, what is consciousness? This brings to mind two ancient and existential questions. Who are we, and why are we here? That's what the priestess at the temple of Apollo in Delphi would have asked those who sought knowledge.
He writes, know thyself.
Delphi is a town in Greece, in case you were wondering, but I digress. Putting all ancient philosophical matters aside, choose one of those 3 questions as the subject of your term paper. I expect creative, imaginative, intelligent, and scientific answers from the perspective of neuroscience. Original hypotheses are welcome as long as they are supported by rigorous research. Good luck.
Dr. Kingsley, I have a question.
Sure, Jenna. Go ahead.
Kingsley looks uncomfortable. Jenna may be considered by many as the prototype of the hot blonde. Interior, Dr. Wolf's office, night. Dr. Wolf, a hippie-looking white-haired therapist, is sitting across from Kingsley.
I was basically making love to her in my dream. I know it sounds disturbing. It's also ironic that I'm a neuroscientist with deep psychological problems, and I don't know.
Are you seeing someone?
What do you mean by seeing?
I mean,
you mean like seeing another shrink?
No, I meant to ask you if you were dating anyone.
Oh, that. I haven't slept with a woman in 7 years. In fact, I never slept with women. I'm celibate, just like Nikola Tesla. Sir Isaac Newton, and the Dalai Lama. Come to think of it, it's not a bad bunch of people to join ranks with.
Yeah. Do you know why you've never slept with a woman?
I'm very busy. You know how academics are, Dr. Wolf. I'm either doing research or teaching. You know what? I don't know.
Have you ever been attracted to or fantasized about a person from the same gender?
No, I'm not asexual or metrosexual for that matter. It's more complicated than that. I love women so much. It's just that they remind me of my mother, you know?
Kingsley, I'm sure you're familiar with the nomenclature we psychotherapists use to label such a case.
Oedipus Rex?
The Oedipus complex.
Right. Why did I say Oedipus Rex? Do you think it might have been a Freudian slip?
Well, I'm more of a Jungian, let's put it this way. So why do you in fact think you mentioned Oedipus Rex or Oedipus the King?
Well, it happened to be my favorite play.
Now, what do you like about it?
It's just very powerful. I mean, it was written around the 5th century BCE by Sophocles, and its themes still hold true today, rendering it automatically a timeless masterpiece.
Interesting. I have to agree with you on that one. I'm not so much into Greek tragedies, but I do appreciate Oedipus Tyrannos. But let me ask you this. What specifically draws you to King Oedipus?
It was my mom's favorite play. She named me Oedipus after it.
Tell me a little bit about your mother. How was she like? Did you get along?
Well, she was an actress. She made me like acting and appreciate art in general, but my dad insisted that I had to study something related to science.
What did he do for a living?
He was a physician. My dad appreciated art, but in his own way. I would say his taste was a bit old-fashioned for me. I definitely bonded more with my mom. She was beautiful, intelligent, funny, and she had a strong character, but at least creativity was her soft side.
Did your father have a soft side too?
That's a good question. I never thought about that. I'm sure he did. He loved teaching me math and science. I guess that's why I became a teacher.
Are your parents still alive?
No, they both passed on.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's all right.
Do you have any siblings?
No. You know, the thing is that every woman that I develop any serious feelings for ends up disappointing me or reminding me too much of my mother.
You know what you have to do, don't you?
Excuse me?
You know what I'm going to say, don't you?
No, I don't.
I want you to stop visiting me.
What?
I'm going to assign you a project.
What project? No. Oh, no.
I want you to produce your own version of Oedipus the King.
Thebes, Oedipus, Kingsley. Exterior, Chicago. Day. Title sequence. An architectural montage, a pan from Lake Michigan to the Chicago skyline. Kingsley walking in front of different neoclassical buildings and monuments. The Field Museum, Wrigley Square at Millennium Park, the Chicago Cultural Center, Chicago City Hall, etc. Kingsley is reading Ian Johnston's translation of Oedipus the King. Interior, a small meeting room. Night. The audition for Oedipus the King. Kingsley is sitting at a conference table with a folder in front of him. Next to him are David, the director of photography, Ed, the producer, Ken, the production designer, Dan, the sound recordist, and Robert, the assistant director. They're all faced with around 8 auditionees or more.
Just to give you a general idea, my film will be a contemporary adaptation of Ian Johnston's English translation of Sophocles' masterpiece, Oedipus the King. Ah, that's a mouthful. For those of you who know the story, good for you. For those of you who don't worry. I'll be judging you based on your acting skills and not on your knowledge of the play. In my adaptation, I got rid of all the mythological and religious references because they are simply irrelevant today. I'm sticking to the general dramatic structure of the play, but I'm omitting most of the chorus's lines because they're like the narrator in the novel, undramatic. Since this is a no-budget, digital, feature-length narrative film, I'm going for a minimalist or abstract aesthetic. Since I'm interested in psychospiritual symbolism. I've never directed a film before, so I'd be totally understanding if you're concerned. That makes the two of us. But we're here for the fun of it, aren't we? For those of you who are wondering what I do for a living, I'm a neuroscientist. Don't ask me why I decided to direct Oedipus the King. The short answer is it's not only a masterpiece, it's my favorite play of all time. Now let's move on from my lengthy and self-indulgent monologue and let me hear you read, ladies and gentlemen. If you wish to put your best into it, go ahead. I'd be satisfied with just a cold reading.
So do you want us to pronounce it Oedipus or Oedipus?
I prefer the British pronunciation, Oedipus, as opposed to the American way of saying it, Oedipus. So let's please stick with the British version.
Oh, sweet speaking voice, you have come to glorious Thebes. What is your intent?
My fearful heart twists on the rack and shakes with fear.
O healer, for whom we cry aloud in holy awe, what obligation will you demand from me? A thing unknown or now renewed with the revolving years. Immortal voice, O child of golden hope, speak to me.
First, I call on you, the immortal daughter, and on your sister too, who guards our land and sits on her glorious round throne in our marketplace, and on him who shoots from far away.
Oh, you 3 guardians against death appear to me. If before now you ever driven off a fiery plague to keep away disaster from the city and have banished it, then come to us this time as well.
Our city dies. We have lost count of all the dead. Her sons lie in the dirt unpitied, unlamented. Corpses spread the pestilence, while youthful wives and great-haired mothers will everywhere and cry in supplication, seeking to relieve their agonizing pain. Their solemn chants ring out. They mingle with the voices of lament.
Your name is Oedipus too, isn't it?
It's Kingsley.
Why are all the audition pieces from the chorus's lines when you said that you will omit most of them in your adaptation?
The members of the chorus strike me as gender non-specific, but I have scenes with dialogue too as audition pieces if you're interested.
Oh, so we're playing transgender characters? Cool.
I think she'd be perfect for Jocasta.
You think so?
Kingsley seems unconvinced. David nods to Kingsley in a reassuring way while smiling.
Shall I start?
The Oracle at Delphi. Interior, Hypatia's apartment. kitchen, day. Laius, a bearded old man, is holding Hypatia, a sexy psychic, from behind, caressing her neck and kissing it. Laius dips a few grapes in a glass of wine, and he feeds Hypatia sensually as he eats some himself. They seem intoxicated. He rips her shirt.
Let's fuck.
Interior, Hypatia's apartment, living room, later. Laius is sitting across from Hypatia with a table separating them. On top of the table lies a crystal ball. Laius is distracted by an upper sign behind Hypatia's bearing Know Thyself. Hypatia is spreading tarot cards on the table in a cross spread.
What do you mean I can't morally judge you?
Laius, you're a married man. By having sex with me, you are automatically having an affair, especially when your poor wife doesn't know. I, on the other hand, I'm single, and I love it that way. I get to express my sexuality with whomever I want, without any commitments. And you also call yourself religious, but your religion is superstition. That's why you come to me, your dutiful psychic. You will not understand my spirituality because it's irreligious in nature, but I am the sacred prostitute, and I am the high priestess, and that's why I speak the truth.
I don't understand, and I do not wish to understand. I came here to fuck, and you know my fate. Don't make a big deal out of it.
Are you sure you want to know?
Yeah, I'm not afraid.
Hypatia holds Laius' hand to read his palm.
Let's start with this. Every action has an opposite and equal reaction.
Obviously, how's that relevant?
It's the law of karma. I'm afraid to tell you that you have bad karma, Laius. In your past life, you were a murderer. And even though you were born rich, in this life, you are doomed with a curse.
A curse? What curse?
Hypatia shows him his cards. The reversed chariot, the tower, the wheel of fortune, and the two of cups. She points at each card while divinating.
Your wife cannot bear a child, for if she will, this child will murder you and marry his mother.
Hypatia, that's very disturbing.
It's the truth.
But Jocasta and myself have tried so many times to have children. We just never could.
You wanted to know your fate. That's what's written in the stars. That's your prophecy. I do not make up such things.
I have a feeling you're lying to me. Are you jealous from my wife? Is this what it's all about? Do you want me to leave her for you?
I told you already that I like being single. It's up to you to believe what you want to believe. I told you the truth.
That's bullshit, and I'll prove you wrong.
Laius gets up quickly in a fit of anger and exits the apartment. He seems drunk, for he was about to fall. Interior, Laius's house, bedroom, night. Laius is sitting on the bed lost in thought. Jocasta, his sexy wife, approaches him in a nightgown in an attempt to seduce him and to put him in a better mood.
Care for some wine?
Laius takes the glass from her and drinks it all in one go.
Baby, are you okay? You don't want to play?
Jocasta is whispering to him while playing with his hair.
Did Hypatia tell you something upsetting? She knows nothing. She pretends she...
She said horrible things to me, but you know, I'll ignore what she said. How can I have such a long face when I have such a beautiful wife? Come here, Jocasta. I want to make love to you.
Laius starts kissing Jocasta, and all of a sudden he holds Jocasta violently, carries her, spins her around, and throws her on the bed. Then he roughly has his way with her.
Laius!
Interior, Laius' house, bedroom, 9 months later. Jocasta screams as she's sweating while giving birth. We hear a baby cry. Baby Oedipus is given to her. She holds him and smiles while tearing. She hands him to Sappho, their transgender chauffeur.
Tie his feet and leave him on Mount Citeron.
Is this your wish?
Do as you're told.
Sappho is flabbergasted.
Get out, now!
Sappho leaves instantly. Jocasta starts crying and screaming hysterically. Mount Citeron. What's in a name? Exterior. Mount Citeron Day. Sappho is carrying baby Oedipus, whose feet are tied together, amidst a nature reserve near University Park. The baby is crying. Sappho stops and looks around her. Bilitis, her lover, is approaching from a distance. Sappho unties the baby's feet. They're swollen.
I really appreciate you coming here, Bilitis.
Sappho touches Bilitis' face gently. The latter smiles.
There's no way I could do this.
Calm down, Sappho. We are here to deal with it together.
What if Lady Jocasta chose me because she unconsciously knew I'd never do it? Maybe on some level, she knew he'd be safe with me, and that's why she chose me as his killer.
You will not kill a fly, let alone such a cute baby. Do you know his name?
He doesn't have a name, but you can call him Swollen Foot, I guess, or Oedipus.
Oedipus, that sounds right. How is it going, little Oedipus? Oh, look at his feet.
Bilitis touches Sappho's shoulder.
You did the right thing. Do you think we can keep him?
I would love to, but someone might find out. It would be best if you can find a nice straight couple who can adopt him.
Are you saying we are not fit to be parents?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm concerned about the baby's safety, that's all. It may look suspicious if we adopt him.
I have a couple in mind, Polybus and Merope. I sell my baggies to them. They are kind people. They have always wanted to have a baby, but unfortunately, they are infertile. They'll take care of Oedipus. I'm almost certain of it. You can't imagine how happy they will be.
Great, then. Here's the baby. Please take good care of him, will you? And keep me updated.
I will. I'll send you an email or shoot you a text once I have update. I love you, Sappho.
I love you too, Bilitis.
They kiss. Bilitis carries the baby and leaves while Sappho stares at them for a second, then departs in a separate way. Interior, Kingsley's apartment, living room, day. Crew meeting between Kingsley, Ed, Dan, David, Ken, and Robert.
I know it's challenging to make a no-budget feature-length film.
We're talking about Oedipus, the fucking king, man. This gotta be an epic movie, or else it will suck.
Sure, but I'm not making a period film.
Which is great. I mean, your contemporary adaptation not only makes sense, it's saving us a ton of money.
It's not all about money, Eddie. Kingsley's adaptation has a lot of merit to it. He's reinterpreting the old narrative. I mean, his vision will make such a powerful yet largely unknown play accessible to audiences today.
Who honestly don't give a fuck about a puss called Oedipus.
Shut up, Rob. Obviously, Danny, it's not all about the money, but as the producer, I'm trying to get this film made in the context of a bad economy and financiers who are only interested in Hollywood material.
Sex and violence, so yeah.
We're making an indie film, but it's not completely off-putting. It's not totally out there. I mean, it's sort of art house, but not really. What I'm trying to say is that the balance here is to make an artistic film that can appeal to a large group of people, so it can eventually sell. I personally don't mind working for free, us being friends and all, but I'm doing you a favor, man, because we're friends. We've known each other for a long time.
David looks intensely at Kingsley.
I appreciate that, Dave. Honestly, I don't want people to make this film as a favor to me. People should help me make this film only if they want to, following a cooperative business model.
Dave, we're also making people sign deferral agreements, guaranteeing them a percentage of any profit the film could potentially accrue in the future.
The key now is to cover our costs. Most actors will work for free if you feed them and give them a DVD copy of the film when it's done. It's trickier with the crew, and that's why you ask for our help, because we are your friends.
I have a good feeling about this. I mean, yeah, sure, it's challenging, but what's not challenging in life, right? I don't want to make just any kind of film. This is special. Filmmaking is a process, and it involves teamwork, so collaboration is key. I know it's my first film, but Citizen Kane was Orson Welles' first film. I know, I'm not Orson Welles, but how dare I compare myself to him? But more seriously now, because we're limited financially in terms of the film's budget, we have to be more creative in the way we solve problems, and there will be many, I promise you. But we have to also be practical without settling for nothing less than a quality product. A professor of mine once told me, less is more. We have less money than other people. That's true, but we also have way more quality and integrity than most of these folks. So may the film gods give us their blessings.
Nice speech, Kingsley. But now back to Earth. In terms of locations, we have no permits for any of the exterior, so we need to shoot those scenes very quickly. It's great that we don't have exterior night scenes. We cannot afford those HMIs anyways. I think Chicago is a great choice as Steeps. We've got to make this city a hub for indie filmmaking, just like New York and Austin. As for interiors, those will be easy. I have a lot of friends whom I'm sure will be willing to let us their apartments.
I got us good equipment deals too. Most of the stuff we already own as a collective, and some will borrow and few will rent or buy. We may not be paying any salaries, but I'll make sure we provide our cast and crew with at least decent pizzas during shooting.
Make sure to include veggie options when you're ordering those pizzas.
No worries, man. I got it taken care of.
All right, so we're all set?
Ken, this is your production. Kingsley, this is your production designer. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead. So you want to talk about the production design? Yes. Nepalese clothes, Neo-Greek architecture. One more to be said. I lost you there, Ken.
Well, Ken, if you remember, we said we're going for a minimalist, abstract, symbolic look, and Nepalese clothes are just that.
Wonderful. I've seen the sketches and they look amazing.
I hate to be the asshole in the room, but what do you plan to do with this film once it's finished?
Take it to Ken. Worst case scenario, self-distribute it online.
Corinth, more than 20 years later. Exterior, Corinth day. An aerial shot of University Park followed by a series of shots highlighting the Nathan Manilow Sculpture Park and other shots giving us a scene of the prairies. Interior Mount Olympus pub. Night. Oedipus, a bald and fit-looking, fair-skinned man in his 20s, is sitting at a bar next to a beautiful blonde girl, Aphrodite. They are laughing and flirting while drinking. A music video of the chorus, a 5-piece experimental rock group playing on TV, catches their attention. Tiresias, whose face we can't see due to a hooded cape he's wearing, is drinking red wine. Hermes, the bartender, looks bored.
More wine, please.
Sure thing, T.
Tiresias looks at Oedipus and shakes his head in disgust. He drinks his glass of wine in one go and starts approaching Oedipus in a drunken manner. He can barely stand still.
You're not your father's real son.
Go away, old man. Can't you see I'm busy?
You are not your father's real son.
Show your face.
Ignore him. He's just a drunken old fool.
You're not your father's real son.
What do you want? You want to fight? I don't fight old fools. If you wanted to make me angry, you have succeeded. I am real angry.
Oedipus slams the bar, spilling wine from his glass. Baby, it's not worth it. Let's go home. We can...
Hold on, Aphrodite. Listen, old man, I don't usually beat people in your age, but in your case, I can make it an exception.
As Oedipus turns his head to address Tiresias, he can no longer find him, as if the latter had completely vanished into thin air. In a fit of rage, Oedipus quickly leaves the pub. Oedipus! Exterior, Mount Olympus, pub, night. Oedipus is standing in front of the pub, looking in all directions, but he cannot see the hooded stranger. Interior, exterior, Polybus house, night. Oedipus finishes packing his backpack. Merope and Polybus, Oedipus' old African parents, seem worried.
Oedipus, where do you think you're going?
Answer your mother, young man.
I'm going to Delphi.
Delphi? What for?
I have some business to take care of. Goodbye.
Oedipus hugs and kisses his mother on the cheek.
Take care, Dad.
Oedipus hugs his father. Merope cries and Polybus holds her in his arms. Oedipus leaves the house, which looks like a barn or a farmhouse. Exterior, Corinth, day. Oedipus walks amidst the prairies on a long and seemingly endless road. It's almost sunrise. Oedipus is sweating. He stops to drink water, and he resumes walking. Exterior, Delphi, day. An aerial shot of Hyde Park, juxtaposed to several shots of Oedipus walking by several neoclassical buildings, such as the Blackstone Library and the Museum of Science and Industry, among others. Exterior, Hypatia's building, day. Oedipus reaches a building, he enters it. Interior, Hypatia's apartment, living room, day. Oedipus is seated down at the table. On the table is a crystal ball. The environment of the room evokes mystique.
Would you like something to drink?
No, thank you.
You've come a long way. Are you sure?
Yes, I came from Corinth on foot. But don't worry, I make sure to keep myself hydrated after all. We're 70% water.
Hypatia is approaching from the kitchen carrying 2 wooden bowls.
Water is good, but this is even better.
She sits down and puts 1 bowl in front of Oedipus and 1 bowl in front of her.
What is it?
Ayahuasca?
Isn't that a drug?
It's a remedy. It cleanses the soul. It induces visions. Drink up.
She starts drinking from the bowl. Oedipus seems hesitant.
I can't handle entheogens.
Why did you travel all this way to me?
Oedipus starts drinking from the bowl.
You can't stop. Finish the whole thing.
Oedipus drinks up the whole thing.
Who are you? Why are you here?
Oedipus looks dizzy. He starts throwing up. The Pythia's voice becomes hypnotic to him. He looks at a sign behind her bearing the following words: Know thyself.
Who are you? Why are you here?
I am Oedipus, son of Polybus, and I am here because a foolish old man, a drunkard, made me question my identity.
Was he wearing a hooded cape?
Yes, he was. How did you know?
You are not who you think you are. You will murder your father, and you will defile your mother's bed.
What did you say?
Oedipus snaps out from his trance.
Are you... What? You psychics are all the same. You think you know the truth. You know nothing. You just play games with people's heads using cheap trickery. You know nothing. You pretend to know just to make ends meet. You know nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Oedipus gets up from the table as quick as he can. He almost falls to the ground. He regains his balance and he immediately runs away, exiting the apartment. Hypatia looks composed. Interior. Hypatia's apartment, living room day, continues. We now see the crew members.
Cut.
Is that a keeper?
Yeah, that was great. Beautiful job, everyone. When's the pizza coming?
I believe it's on the way.
Good, because I'm starving. What other scenes do we need to shoot before our lunch break?
I think that's it for this location.
Cool. Dan, record 30 seconds of ambience, please.
Consider it done.
Everyone waits until Dan gives them the okay that he finished recording. Dan gives a thumbs up.
What will you do with the actor who didn't show up?
Replace him?
Do we have a replacement?
I'll play the role myself if I have to.
The realities of an ultra-low budget film, lots of pizzas, and the occasional no-show.
Correction. The realities of a no-budget film, no money, borrowed equipments, no location permits, no committed cast and crew, and same pizza, different day.
Robert's phone rings. He answers it and shortly terminates the conversation after nodding.
The pizza is here.
No one else is excited. Robert gets the pizzas from the delivery guy and he starts devouring a slice. Everyone else has a blank face. The plague. Blank screen.
Mr. Rex. Mr. Rex. Mr. Rex.
Interior. Hall of Baloo. Backstage day. Oedipus is standing backstage with Sophocles, his political advisor.
Sorry, Sophocles. It seems I was daydreaming or something.
Are you okay, Mr. Rex? The press conference is up in less than 5 minutes.
From what angle should I tackle this, do you think?
Well, this is a very important press conference that will help promote our political campaign. We need all the publicity we can garner, especially given the current situation. You know, it would be good to think of the word plague as an umbrella term encompassing the worst of the worst. Recent pandemics like the swine flu and older ones like the bird flu, the mad cow disease, AIDS, cancer, natural disasters, poverty, unemployment, war, the financial crisis, crime, drugs, prostitution, famine, exploitation, fascism, corruption, illegal immigration, global warming, a terrible healthcare system, high taxes, depression, suicide, terrorism, oil spills, human rights violations, MK Ultra, HARP, the ozone depletion, the end of the world, the reptilian humanoid ruling class, Nibiru, Project Bluebeam, the Anunnakis, Stargates in Iraq, etc.
Wow, you didn't leave anything out, did you?
Just remember that even though you're an independent candidate, this city regards you as a hero. They'll probably challenge you a little bit, questioning your promises of reform.
Well, I'm no revolutionary, but I'm ready to answer their questions now.
Oedipus takes a deep breath and walks out to the stage. Interior, Hall of Baloo, day. Oedipus walks up on stage and sits in his seat, followed by Sophocles. He's greeted by a film crew, which consists of Socrates, an old interviewer with a handheld mic, Plato, a middle-aged cameraman, and Aristotle, a young producer.
Hello, Mr. Rex. My name is Socrates. I will be having the pleasure of interviewing you today. This is Platon, our camera person, and right here is Aristoteles, our very young producer.
Pleasure to meet you all. This is Sophocles. I do what he tells me.
They all laugh. Socrates gets all serious and holds up the mic to Oedipus.
Oedipus, leader of the non-democratic, anti-capitalist, pseudoscientific, quasi-spiritual, post-postmodern neo-political party, and owner of the indie record label Musica Universalis, our city, as you yourself can see, is badly shaken. We judge you in what happens, for you came here free us from the tribute we were paying to the cruel singer. And yet you know no more than we did, and had not been taught. So now, Oedipus, you best of men, raise up our state, act to consolidate our fame for now. Thanks to your eagerness in early days, the city celebrates you as its savior. Restore our city so that it stands secure. In those times past you brought us joy. Will you be that same man today?
I know why you have come. I'm not ignorant of what you yearn for I know well that you are ill. And yet, sick as you are, there is not one of you whose illness equals mine. Your agony comes to each one of you as his alone, a special pain for him and no one else. But the soul inside me sorrows for myself and for the city, and for you, all together. You're not rousing me from a deep sleep. You must know I've been shedding many tears, and in my wandering thoughts exploring many pathways. After a careful search, I followed up the one thing I could find and acted on it. So I have sent away my brother-in-law, Creon, to Hypatia the psychic, to learn from her what I might do or say to save our city from the plague. But when I count the days, the time he's been away, I now worry what he's doing, for he's been gone too long, well past the time he should have taken. But when he comes, I'll be a wicked man if I do not act.
They all applaud. Exterior, Oedipus' backyard. Day. Oedipus is barbecuing. The film crew from earlier are present. They are enjoying the veggie food and the wine. Creon, his nerdy brother-in-law, approaches Oedipus. Oedipus notices him and smiles. They hug.
Good news! I tell you, even troubles difficult to bear will all end happily if events lead to the right conclusion.
What is the oracle? So far your words inspire in me no confidence or fear.
If you wish to hear the news in public, I'm prepared to speak. Or we could step inside.
Speak out to everyone. The grief I feel for these citizens is even greater than any pain I feel for my own life.
Then let me report what I heard. We are clearly ordered to drive away the polluting stain this land has harbored, which will not be healed if we keep nursing it.
What sort of cleansing? And this disaster, how did it happen?
By banishment, or atone for murder by shedding blood again. This blood brings on the storm which blasts our state.
And the one whose fate was revealed, what sort of man is he?
Before you came, Laius was killed. And now it is clear those murderers must be punished, whoever they may be.
And where are they? In what country? Where am I to find a trace of this ancient crime? It will be hard to track.
Here in Thebes, so it was said, what is sought is found, but what is overlooked escapes.
When Laius fell in the bloody death, where was he? At home or in another land?
He was abroad on his way to Delphi. That's what he told us. He began the trip, but did not return.
Was there no one? No companion who made the journey with him and witnessed what took place? A person who might provide some knowledge men could use?
All died, except for one who was afraid and ran away. There was only one thing he could inform us of with confidence about the things he saw.
What was that? We might get somewhere if we had one fact. We could find many things if we possessed some slender hope to get us going.
He told us it was robbers who attacked them, not just a single man, a gang of them. They came on with force and killed him.
Would a thief have dared to do this, unless he had financial help from Thebes?
That's what we guessed. But once Laius was dead, we were in trouble, so no one sought revenge.
When Laius had fallen in this way, what bad trouble blocked your path, preventing you from looking into it?
It was the Sphinx. She sang her enigmatic song and thus forced us to put aside something we found obscure to look into the urgent problem we now faced.
Then I will start afresh, and once again shed light on darkness. And so, as is right, you will see how I work with you, seeking vengeance for this land. This polluting stain I will remove, not for some distant friend, but for myself. For whoever killed this man may soon enough desire to turn his hand in the same way against me, too, and kill me. Thus, in avenging Laius, I serve myself. I'll do everything I can. This will all come to light successfully, or else it will prove our common ruin.
Interior, Oedipus' office. Day. Oedipus is seated behind his desk. Sophocles is seated across from him.
Well, since you extend your oath to me, I will say this. I'm not the murderer, nor can I tell you who the killer is. As for what you're seeking...
That is well said.
May I then suggest what seems to me the next best course of action?
You may indeed, and if there is a third course too, don't hesitate to let me know.
Tiresias, I know, can see into things.
The beggar?
We see Tiresias sitting on the sidewalk of some street with a cardboard sign saying, "The end is near." Two men in black, Oedipus' bodyguards, Hercules and the driver, Pythagoras, force him up and drag him with them.
From him, a man investigating this might well find out the details of the crime.
I've taken care of that. It's not something I could overlook. At Creon's urging, I have summoned for him and have been wondering for some time now why he has not come.
Apart from that, there are rumors, inconclusive ones, though, from a long time ago.
What kind of rumors? I'm looking into every story.
Well, it was said that Laius was killed by certain travelers.
Yes, I heard as much, but no one has seen the one who did it.
Well, if the killer has any fears, once he hears your curses on him, he won't hold back, for they're serious.
When a man has no fear of doing the act, he's not afraid of words.
No, not in the case where no one stands there to convict him.
A knock on the door. Tiresias, a blind old beggar who's wearing a hooded cape and who has a folding cane, enters.
Tiresias, you who understand all things, what can be taught and what cannot be spoken of? What goes on in the universe and here on earth? You know, although you cannot see how sick our state is. And so we find you alone, great seer, our shield and savior. In case you have not heard the news, the only cure for this infecting pestilence is to find the men who murdered Laius and kill them, or else expel them from this land as exiles. So do not withhold from us your prophecies. Save the city and yourself. Rescue me. Deliver us from this pollution by the dead. We are in your hands.
Alas, alas, how dreadful it can be to have wisdom when it brings no benefit to the man possessing it. This I knew, but it slipped my mind. Otherwise, I would not have journeyed here.
What's wrong? You've come but seem so sad.
Let me go. You must bear your burden to the very end, and I will carry mine if you'll agree with me.
What you are saying is not customary and shows little love towards the city-state which nurtured you, if you deny us your prophetic voice.
I see your words are also out of place. I do not speak for fear of doing the same.
If you know something, then by Jabulon, do not turn away.
You're all ignorant. I will not reveal the troubling things inside me, which I can call your grief as well.
What are you saying? Do you know and will not say? Do you intend to betray me and destroy the city?
I will cause neither me nor you distress. Why do you vainly question me like this? You will not learn a thing.
You most disgraceful of disgraceful men. You'd move something made of stone to rage. Will you not speak out? Will your stubbornness never have an end?
In my temper, but do not see the one which lives within you. Instead, you are finding fault with me.
What man who listened to these words of yours would not be enraged? You insult the city.
Yet, events will still unfold for all my silence.
Since they will come, you must inform me.
I will say nothing more. Fume on about it, as fiercely as you can.
I will. In my anger, I will not conceal just what I make of this. You should know I get the feeling you conspired in the act, and played your part, as much as you could do, short of killing him with your own hands. If you could use your eyes, I would have said that you had done this work all by yourself.
Oh, is that so? Then I would ask you to stand by the very words which you yourself proclaimed, and from now on do not speak to me or these men, for the accursed polluter of this land is you.
You dare to utter shameful words like this. Do you think you can get away with it?
I'm getting away with it. The truth within me makes me strong.
Who taught you this? It could not have been your craft.
You did. You are looking for.
Live streaming is on.
That's twice you stated that disgraceful lie. Something you'll regret.
Shall I tell you once more, so you can grow even more enraged?
As much as you desire, it will be useless.
I say that with your dearest family, unknown to you, you are living in disgrace. You have no idea how bad things are.
Do you really think you can just speak out, say things like this, and still remain unpunished?
Yes, I can, if the truth has any strength.
It does, but not for you. Truth is not in you. For your ears, your mind, your eyes are blind.
You are a wretched fool to use harsh words which all men soon enough will use to curse you.
You live in endless darkness of the night, so you can never injure me or any man who can glimpse daylight.
It is not your fate to fall because of me.
Is this something Creon has devised, or is it your invention?
Creon is no threat. You have made this trouble on your own.
Oh, how much envy you must carry with you, if for this office, which the city gave me, for I did not seek it out, Creon, my old trusted family friend, has secretly conspired to overthrow me and paid off a double-dealing quack like this, a crafty, bogus priest who can only see his own advantage, who in his special art is absolutely blind. Come on, tell me have you ever given evidence of your wise prophecy? When the Sphinx, that singing bitch, was here, you said nothing to set the people free. Why not? Her riddle was not something the first man to stroll along could solve. A prophet was required. And there the people saw your knowledge was no use. But then I came, Oedipus, who knew nothing. Yet I finished her off, using my wits. That's the man you want to overthrow, hoping, no doubt, to stand up there with Creon once he's the leader. But I think you and your conspirator in this will regret trying to usurp the state. If you did not look so old, you'd find the punishment your arrogance deserves.
To us, it sounds as if Tiresias has spoken in anger, and Oedipus, you have done so too. That's not what we need. Instead, we should be looking into this. How can we best carry out this oracle?
You may be high and mighty, but I have the right to answer you, and I control that right, for I am not your slave. I serve the great architect, and thus will never stand with Creon, signed up as his man. So I say this to you, since you have chosen to insult my blindness. You have your eyesight, and you do not who you are, or where you live, or who it is who shares your household. Do you know the family you come from? Without your knowledge, you've become the enemy of your own kindred, and the dreadful feet that to curse from father and mother both will drive you from this land in exile. Those eyes of yours, which now can see so clearly, will be dark, but will not echo with your cries. Where on Cithaeron will they not soon be heard once you have learned the truth about the wedding by which you sailed into this house? A lovely voyage. But the harbour's doomed, my dear, of the quantity of other troubles which will render you and your own children equals. So go on, keep insulting Creon and my prophecies, for among all living mortals, no one will be destroyed than you.
Must I tolerate this insolence from him?
Oedipus holds Tiresias from his cape and pushes him until Tiresias falls to the ground and the cape remains in Oedipus' hands.
Get out, and may the plague get rid of you. Off with you now. Now, turn your back and go, and don't you ever come back here to my household again.
I would not have come, but you summoned me.
I did not know you would speak so stupidly. If I had, you would have waited a long time before I called you here.
Tiresias gets up and starts exiting.
I was born like this, fool, but your parents, the ones who made you, I was wise enough.
Oedipus runs after him and holds him.
Wait, my parents? Who was my father?
This day will reveal that and destroy you.
Everything you speak is all so cryptic, like a riddle.
Well, in solving riddles, are you not the best there is?
Mock my excellence, but you will find out I am truly great.
Ah, that quality of yours now ruins you.
I do not care if I have saved the city.
Tiresias is now heading towards the door.
I will go now.
Yes, leave. You're in the way. If you stay, you'll just provoke me. Once you're gone, you won't annoy me further.
I'm going, but first I'll tell you why I came. I do not fear the face of your displeasure. There is no way you can destroy me. I tell you, the man you have been seeking all this time while proclaiming threats, giving orders about the one who murdered Laius, that man is here. According to reports, he is a stranger who lives here in Thebes, but he will prove to be a native Theban. From that change, he will derive no pleasure, he will be blind, although he now can see. He will be poor, although he is now rich. You will set off for a foreign country, groping the ground before him with a stick, and he will turn out to be the brother of the children in his house, their father too, both at once, and the husband and the son of the very woman who gave birth to them. He sowed the same womb as his father and murdered him. Go in and think on this. If I have spoken falsely, you can say I lack all skill in prophecy.
Oedipus is shaken. The chorus, the Delphic Rock. A music video of the chorus, a 5-piece experimental rock group.
Speaking from the Delphic rock, the oracular voice intoned a name.
But who is the man, the one who with his blood-red hands has done unspeakable brutality.
The time has come for him to flee, to move his powerful foot more swiftly.
The message has just flashed, ordering all to seek the one whom no one knows.
Like a wild bull he wanders now, hidden in the untamed wood, through rocks and caves, alone with his despair on joyless feet.
But that fatal oracle still lives, hovering above his head forever.
That wise interpreter of prophecy stirs up my fears, unsettling dread.
I cannot approve of what he said, and I cannot deny it.
I am confused.
What shall I say? My hopes flutter there and here, with no clear glimpse of past or future.
But there is no sure way to ascertain if human prophets grasp things any more than I do, although in wisdom one man may leave another far behind.
But until I see the words confirmed, I will not approve of any man who censors Oedipus, for it was clear when that winged Sphinx went after him, he was a wise man then.
We witnessed it.
He passed the test and endeared himself to all the city.
So in my thinking now, he never will be guilty of a crime.
Interior, Oedipus' house. Creon's bedroom. Day. Creon is working out while addressing Sophocles.
I have just discovered that Oedipus has leveled charges against me. Disturbing allegations. That I cannot bear, so I have come here.
Perhaps he charged you spurred on by the rash power of his rage rather than his mind's true judgment.
Was it publicized that my opinions convinced Tiresias to utter lies?
That's what was said. I have no idea just what that meant.
Did he accuse me and announce the charges with a steady gaze in a normal state of mind?
I do not know.
Oedipus enters Creon's room, looking mad as if he were searching for him. He points at him and starts approaching him fiercely.
You!
Oedipus violently holds Creon from his shirts and throws him on the floor.
How did you get here? Has your face grown so bold you now come to my own home? You who are obviously the murderer of the man whose house it was, a thief. Come tell me this. Did you plan to do it because you thought I was a coward or a fool? Or do you think I would not learn about your actions as they crept up on me with such deceit? Or that, if I knew, I could not deflect them? This attempt of yours, is it not madness? To chase after Laius' place without friends, without a horde of men? To seek a goal which only green paper bills could attain?
Creon getting up.
Will you listen to me? It's your turn now to hear me make a suitable response. Once you know, then judge me for yourself.
Oedipus sits down on Creon's bed, looking away.
You are a clever talker. But from you, I will learn nothing. I know you now. A troublemaker. An enemy of mine.
At least first listen to what I have to say.
There is one thing you do not have to tell me. You have betrayed me.
If you think being stubborn and forgetting common sense is wise, then you're not thinking as you should.
And if you think you can act to injure a man who is a relative of yours and escape without a penalty, then you're not thinking as you should.
I agree. What you just said makes sense. So tell me the nature of the damage you claim you're suffering because of me.
Oedipus gets up and is close to Creon.
Did you or did you not persuade me to send for Tiresias, that prophet?
Yes, and I'd still give you the same advice.
How long is it since Laius?
Did what? What's Laius got to do with anything?
Since Laius was carried off and disappeared, since he was killed so brutally.
No, that was long ago. Many years have passed since then.
At that time, was Tiresias skilled in prophecy?
Then, as now, he was honored for his wisdom.
And back then, did he ever mention me?
No, never. Not while I was with him.
Did you not investigate the killing?
Yes, of course we did, but we found nothing.
Why did this man, this wise man, not speak up?
I do not know. And when I don't know something, I like to keep my mouth shut.
You know enough. At least you understand enough to say.
What? If I really do know something, I will not deny it.
If Tiresias were not working with you, he would not name me as the one who murdered Laius.
If he says this, well, you're the one who knows, but I think the time has come for me to question you the way that you've been questioning me.
Ask all you want. You will not prove that I'm the murderer.
Then tell me this. Are you not married to my sister?
Since you ask me, yes, I do not deny that.
And you two are equals.
Whatever she desires, she gets from me.
And am I not third, equal to you both?
That's what makes your friendship so deceitful.
No, not if you think this through, as I do. First, consider this. In your view, would anyone prefer to be the leader of the non-democratic, anti-capitalist, pseudo-scientific, quasi-spiritual, post-postmodern, neo-political party and have to cope with fear rather than live in peace, carefree and safe if his powers were the same? I, for one, have no natural desire to be a party leader or the owner of an indie record label. The same is true of any other man whose understanding grasps things properly. For now, I get everything I want from you, but without the fear. If I were in your shoes, I'd be doing many things against my will. So how can that be sweeter to me than power without anxiety? I am not yet so mistaken in my mind that I want things which bring no benefit. Do not condemn me on an unproved charge. It's not fair to judge these things by guesswork, to assume bad men are good or good men bad. In my view, to throw away a noble friend is like a man who parts with his own life, the thing most dear to him. Give it some time. Then you'll see clearly, since only time can fully validate a man who's true. A bad man is exposed in just one day.
For a man concerned about being killed, Mr. Rex, he has spoken quite eloquently. Those who are unreliable give rash advice.
If some conspirator moves against me in secret and with speed, I must be quick to make my counterplans. If I just rest and wait for him to act, then he'll succeed in what he wants to do, and I'll be finished.
What do you want? To exile me from here?
No. I want you to die, not just run off, so I can demonstrate what envy means.
You are determined not to change your mind or listen to me.
You'll not convince me, for there is no way that I can trust you.
I can see that you've become unbalanced.
I'm sane enough to defend my interests.
You should be protecting mine as well.
But you're a treacherous man. It's your nature.
What if you are wrong?
I still have to govern.
Not if you do it badly.
Oh, Thebes. My city.
I have some rights in Thebes as well. It's not yours alone.
Exterior, a deserted part of Thebes. Day. Kingsley is coaching Cynthia and Amun.
Here's my take on the relationship between Oedipus and Jocasta. It's true love, it's passion, it's deep and complex, of an almost spiritual nature. Think of the characters as twin flames. It's not simply a lustful relationship. Now, I want both of you to embrace and let me see that passion.
Cynthia and Amun embrace.
No. What is this? I'm not making a porno here. You know what, Amun? Let me show you how to do it.
Kingsley holds Cynthia. In the beginning, she's resistant, but then she slowly falls for him. He looks at her and realizes that he's in love with her.
This is how you do it.
Kingsley slip. Lips are slowly approaching Cynthia's lips when Robert interrupts them.
Kingsley, I think Ken brought the wrong costumes, which will completely put off the continuity of this scene.
Can't you see I'm working here? Excuse me.
Kingsley walks to David.
I saw you from afar. Wouldn't it have been easier if you had cast a straight man to play Oedipus, or if you yourself had played the part?
What are you implying here?
Nothing. I just admired your intimate style of coaching. Also, I don't know if you noticed or not, but Cynthia flirts with Robert a lot.
Kingsley looks back to see Cynthia laughing at something Robert is saying. Kingsley looks jealous.
Dave, we've worked together before, and you know about my work ethic.
I never said the contrary. You're a professional, but you know, when you spend time with someone like a certain actress, things can get intimate, and there's just nothing wrong with expressing your feelings to Cynthia. It's better to do it sooner than later, if you know what I mean. But I totally understand the principle of not mixing work with pleasure.
Kingsley looks back at Cynthia, and she seems to be flirting with Robert. He can no longer concentrate on what David is saying. The Riddle of the Sphinx. Exterior, Mount Ciceron, day. Oedipus is walking through the woods, and he's somewhat scared. He comes across a group of 4 bandits. He talks to their leader, Zeus, a bald, muscular guy.
Do you happen to know the way to Thebes?
I do. But we must play a game first.
I have no time for games.
You have no other choice.
I'll fight you if I have to.
We outnumber you. It would be useless. Plus, I'm a black belt in Kung Fu. In case you are not from around here, my name is Zeus, and I rule Mount Citheron. You seem like a worthy opponent. I can sense that. I sense the fighter in you. But instead, I want to make a deal with you. Behind that tree is Thebes. However, you can't enter the city without answering the riddle of the Sphinx. So far, no one has been able to solve the riddle. And they all paid the price.
What price?
Well, they were devoured by the Sphinx.
Sounds like the Sphinx is the one ruling around here.
The group laughs with the exception of Zeus.
Shut up! Look, if you pay me, I will kill her for you.
I don't need your help. Besides, I think you're a cheap scoundrel. As a matter of fact, you're all a bunch of cowards.
The group was about to attack Oedipus when Zeus stopped them.
Oh, so you're challenging me. I admire your courage. I sense a lot of hubris in this one. Do you want to make a bet then? Or do you want my boys here to kill you?
They produce martial arts weapons.
I don't make bets.
All right then. I'll show you what Zeus can do.
Zeus walks towards a certain tree and disappears behind it. We hear a very high pitched frequency followed by Zeus screaming. The rest of the group runs away. Oedipus walks towards the tree with caution. Behind the tree, he sees a very sexy woman who looks like a cat. She's dressed in a scattered dress with the same color of her skin tone. The Sphinx sings to Oedipus in a heavenly melody. Oedipus seems to be under her spell, so he can't help but approach her as if he were being magnetically pulled towards her. She seems charmed by him too, and so she kisses him immediately in a very passionate manner. Oedipus wakes up to discover that Zeus is on the floor with blood on his neck and fang marks. The key is to avoid looking into the Sphinx's eyes, to avoid being charmed. Which creature in the morning goes on 4 legs, at midday on 2, and in the evening upon 3, and the more legs it has, the weaker it be?
Man.
The Sphinx is shocked. She screams in a very dissonant fashion, and then she starts devouring herself. Oedipus is completely disgusted as blood splatters on his face, and as sunlight almost blinds him. He leaves the woods for Thebes. Exterior, Laia's house. Backyard, day. Yocasta's assistants Hercules and Pythagoras carry Oedipus in a cheerful manner. They throw on him rose petals and ornate him with a laurel wreath. He notices Jocasta in the distance in a beautiful white dress. She notices him too. It's love at first sight. They take him down and he walks to her. They touch, they kiss, then they hug. Interior, Laius's house. Bedroom, night. Oedipus is making love to Jocasta, and at some point he sees her face morphing into the Sphinx's face. Momentarily, he's shocked and he feels as if he can't breathe. He starts choking. He wakes up from the nightmare sweating. Jocasta wakes up too. She caresses him and they start making out. Interior, Kingsley's apartment, editing room, day. Kingsley and Cynthia are in front of a computer watching the previous scene.
What do you think of the editing so far?
I think you did a good job. I have faith in this movie.
Thanks, I appreciate that. I want to apologize for having been an ass with you before.
I'm the one who was assholish. Anyways, you said you wanted to talk?
Are you dating Robert?
Why do you want to know?
Are you?
It was very short-lived.
I knew you guys were sleeping together.
So? That's none of your business.
I can be silly sometimes, especially when I have feelings for someone.
Wait a second. Kingsley, do you have feelings for me?
I love you.
I didn't see that coming.
I didn't either.
Aren't we supposed to kiss or something now?
Yeah, I think that would be very nice.
Kingsley kisses Cynthia. It's a lip kiss.
That was not bad.
Yeah, that was not bad at all. Do you want to watch another scene?
We can do that later.
Cynthia was about to kiss Kingsley when he backed away.
I just wanted to let you know that I haven't been with anyone for about 7 years.
That's okay. I won't judge you.
Kingsley feels relieved. He starts kissing her this time. Exterior, Oedipus' house, backyard, day. Jocasta comes in. Everyone is attentive to her. Sophocles is jamming on his acoustic guitar.
You foolish man. Why are you arguing in such a silly way? With our land so sick, are you not ashamed to start a private fight? You, Oedipus, go in the house. And you, Creon, too. Why blow up a trivial matter into something huge?
Sister, your husband Oedipus intends to punish me in one of two dreadful ways: to banish me from my father's country, or arrest me and then have me killed.
That's right. I caught him committing treason, conspiring against me.
Let me not prosper, but die a man accursed if I have done what you accuse me of.
Jocasta produces a dollar bill. In God we trust.
Oedipus, for the sake of this $1 bill, trust him. Do it for my sake and for those around you.
I beg you, consent to this. Agree with her.
What is it then that you're asking me to do?
Pay Creon due respect. He's not been foolish in the past.
Are you aware of just what you're asking?
Yes, I understand.
Then tell me exactly what you're saying.
You should not accuse a friend of yours and thus dishonor him with a mere story which may not be true.
By this point, you should clearly understand when you request this, what you are doing, seeking to exile me from Thebes or kill me.
No, may I die the most miserable of deaths, abandoned by my friends if I have ever harbored such a thought. But the destruction of our land wears down the troubled heart within me, and so does this, if you two add new problems to the ones which have for so long been afflicting us.
Let him go then. Even though it's clear I must be killed or sent from here in exile, forced out in disgrace, I have been moved to act compassionately by what you said, not by Creon's words. But if he stays here, he will be hateful to me.
You are obstinate. obviously unhappy to concede, and when you lose your temper, you go too far. But men like that find it most difficult to tolerate themselves. In that, there's justice.
Why not go? Just leave me alone.
I'll leave since I see you do not understand me. But these men here know I'm a reasonable man.
Creon goes inside the house.
Mrs. Rex, will you please escort Mr. Rex inside?
Yes, once I have learned what happened here.
They talked. Their words gave rise to uninformed suspicion, an all-consuming lack of proper justice.
From both of them?
Yes.
What caused it?
With our country already in distress, it's enough. It seems to me enough to leave things as they are.
Now do you see the point you've reached, thanks to your noble wish to dissolve and dull my firmer purpose?
Mr. Rex, I have declared it more than once, so you must know it would have been quite mad if I abandoned you, who, when this land, my cherished Thebes, was in great trouble, set it right again, and who, in these harsh times which now consume us, should prove a trusty guide.
By all, let me know why in this present crisis you now feel such unremitting rage.
To you I'll speak, my love, since I respect you more than I do these men. It's Creon's fault. He conspired against me.
In this quarrel, what was said? Tell me.
Creon claims that I'm the murderer, that I killed Laius.
Does he know this firsthand, or has he picked it from someone else?
No. He set up that treasonous prophet. What he says himself sounds innocent.
All right. Forget about those things you've said. Listen to me. And ease your mind with this. No human being has skill in prophecy. I'll show you why with this example. Laius once received a prophecy. It said he was fated to be killed by a child conceived by him and me. Now, at least according to the story, one day Laius was killed by foreigners, by robbers, at a place where 3 roads meet. Besides, before a child was 3 days old, Laius fused his ankles tight together and ordered other men to throw him out on a mountain rock where no one ever goes, and Laius never suffered what he feared, that his own son would be his murderer, although that's what the oracle had claimed. So don't concern yourself with prophecies. What's worrying you?
I thought I heard you say that Laius was murdered at a place where 3 roads meet.
That's what was said, and people still believe.
Where is this place? Where did it happen?
In a land called Phokis. 2 roads lead there, one from Delphi and one from Daulia.
How long is it since these events took place?
The story was reported in the city just before you took over the party here in Thebes.
Oh.
Oedipus is getting blurry flashbacks of Walker Drive's triple deck.
What is it, Oedipus? Why is your spirit so troubled?
Not yet. No questions yet. Tell me this. Laius, how tall was he? How old a man?
He was big. His hair was turning white. In shape, he was not all that unlike you.
The worst for me. I may have just set myself under a dreadful curse without my knowledge.
What do you mean?
I am afraid, full of terrible fears the prophet sees. But you can reveal this better if you know now. Will tell me one more thing.
If you ask me, I will answer you.
Did Laius have a small escort with him, or?
2 men, his driver and his private bodyguard.
Alas, it's all too clear. Who told you this?
The driver, the only one who got away. He came back here.
Is there any chance he's in our household now?
No. Once he returned and understood that you had now assumed the power of slaughtered Laius, he left to where animals graze out in the fields, so he could be as far away as possible from the sight of town.
I'd like him to return back here to us, and quickly too.
That can be arranged, but why is that something you would want to do?
I'm afraid I may have said too much. That's why I want to see him here, in front of me.
Then he will be here. But now I deserve to learn why you're so distressed.
Exterior, Walker Drive, day, flashback. We see what Oedipus describes. The action takes place on one of Walker Drive's lower levels.
My forebodings now have grown so great, I will not keep them from you. For who is there I should confide in, rather than in you, about such a twisted turn of fortune? My father was Polybus of Corinth, my mother Merope, a Dorian. There I was regarded as the finest man in all the city, until, as chance would have it, something really astonishing took place, though it was not worth what it caused me to do. At a pub there was a man who was quite drunk from too much wine, began to shout at me, claiming I was not my father's real son. That troubled me, but for a day at least I said nothing, though it was difficult. The next day I went to ask my parents, my father and my mother. They were angry at the man who had insulted them this way. So I was reassured, but nonetheless the accusation always troubled me. The story had become well known all over, and so I went to Delphi and Hypatia. She uttered monstrous things, strange terrors and horrific mysteries. It was my fate to defile my mother's bed, to bring forth to men a human family that people could not bear to look upon, to murder the father who engendered me. When I heard that, I ran away from Corinth. From then on, I thought of it just as a place beneath the stars. I went to other lands so I would never see that prophecy fulfilled, the abomination of my evil fate. In my traveling, I came across the place in which you say Laius was murdered. And now I will tell you the truth. As I was on the move, I passed close by a spot where 3 roads meet, and in that place there was a car. Inside, there was a man like you described. The driver kept on honking at me, and then they got out, and they tried to force me off the road, and the old man too got personally involved. In my rage, I lashed out at the driver. The old man, seeing me walking past him, kept his eyes on me, and then he butt-kicked me. Well, I retaliated in good measure. I hit him and knocked him off the road. He lay there on his back. Then I killed him and his bodyguard. If that stranger was somehow linked to Laius, who is now more unfortunate than me? What man could be more hateful? No stranger and no citizen can welcome him into their lives or speak to him. Instead, they must keep him from their doors. A curse I laid upon myself. With these hands of mine, these killers' hands, I now contaminate the dead man's bed. Am I not depraved? Am I not utterly abhorrent? Now I must fly into exile, and there, a fugitive, never see my people, never set foot in my native land again. Or else I must get married to my mother and kill my father, Polybus, who raised me, the man who gave me life. Oh, may I not see that day. Let me rather vanish from the sight of men before I see a fate like that roll over me.
Exterior, Oedipus' house, backyard, day.
Mr. Rex, to us these things are ominous, but you must sustain your hope until you hear the driver who was present at the time.
I do have some hope left, at least enough to wait for the man we've summoned from the fields.
Once he comes, what do you hope to hear?
I'll tell you. If we discovered what he says matches what you say, then I'll escape disaster.
What was so remarkable in what I said?
You said that in his story the man claimed Laius was murdered by a band of thieves. If he still says that there are several men, then I was not the killer, since one man could never be mistaken for a crowd. But if he says it was a single man, then I'm the one responsible for this.
Well, that's certainly what he reported then. He cannot now withdraw what he once said. The whole city heard him, not just me alone. But even if he changes that old news, he cannot ever demonstrate that Laius's murder fits the prophecy. It was clearly said the man would die at the hands of an infant born from him. Now, how did that unhappy son of ours kill Laius when he'd perished long before? So as far as these oracular sayings go, I would not look for confirmation anywhere.
You're right in what you say. But nonetheless, send for that driver. Don't fail to do that.
Oedipus goes inside the house.
Sophocles, please bring me some offerings and tell Mr. Rex to join me.
She gets her cell phone out.
Hello, Pythagoras? Where is she? Oh, good.
Sophocles is back with the offerings. He hands them to Jocasta, who then sets them sacred plants such as Italian cypress from ancient Greek mythology on top of an altar, which is a recycling garbage can. Sophocles joins her. Bilites, a farmer and a courier, is accompanied by Oedipus' bodyguard, Hercules, and driver, Pythagoras. One can tell from her sweat that she has come a long way.
Thank you, Hercules and Pythagoras. You may go.
I have good news.
What news is that? Where have you come from?
I have come from Corinth. I'll give you my report at once, and then you will no doubt be glad, although perhaps you will be sad as well.
What is your news?
Polybus is dead and in his grave.
What?
Yes.
Has Oedipus's father died?
Yes.
Oedipus.
Oedipus comes out of the house.
Jocasta, my dearest wife, why have you summoned me to leave our home and come out here?
You must hear... Sorry, what's your name?
Bilitis.
You must hear Bilitis, and as you listen, decide for yourself what these prophecies, these solemn proclamations amount to.
Who is she? What report does she have for me?
She comes from Corinth, bringing news that Polybus, your father, no longer is alive. He's dead.
What?
If I must first report my news quite plainly, then I should let you know that Polybus has passed away. He's gone.
By treachery, or was it the result of some disease?
With all bodies, a slight weight on the scales brings final peace.
Apparently his death was from an illness.
Yes, and from old age.
It was foretold that I was going to murder my own father. But now he's dead and lies beneath the earth, and I'm here. Perhaps he died from a desire to see me. So in that sense, I brought about his death. But as for those prophetic oracles, they're worthless. Polybus has taken them to his next life.
Was I not the one who predicted this some time ago?
You did, but then I was misguided by my fears.
You must not keep on filling up your heart with all these things.
But my mother's bed. I'm afraid of that. And surely I should be.
Why should a man whose life seems ruled by chance live in fear? A man who never looks ahead, who has no certain vision of his future. It's best to live haphazardly, as best as you can. Do not worry, you will wed your mother. It's true that in their dreams, a lot of men have slept with their own mothers, but someone who ignores all this bears life more easily.
Everything you say would be commendable if my mother were not still alive. But since she is, I must remain afraid, although what you are saying is right.
But still, your father's death is a great comfort to us.
Yes, it is good. I know. But I do fear that lady. She is still alive.
What in her makes you so fearful?
A dreadful prophecy.
It is well known or something private, which another person has no right to know?
No. It's public knowledge. It was once said that it was my fate that I would marry my own mother and shed my father's blood with my own hands. That's why, many years ago, I left my home in Corinth. Things turned out well, but nonetheless, it gives me the sweetest joy to look into the eyes of one's own parents.
And because you were afraid of her, you stay away from Corinth?
And because I did not want to be my father's killer.
Since I came to make you happy, why don't I relieve you of this fear?
You would receive from me a worthy thanks.
That's really why I came, so your return might prove a benefit to me back home.
But I will never go back to my parents.
It is so clear you have no idea what you are doing.
What do you mean? In the name of all supernovas and black holes, tell me.
If that's the reason you are a fugitive and won't go home.
I fear the prophecy might reveal itself in me.
You were afraid you might become corrupted through your parents?
That's right. That was my constant fear.
Are you aware these fears of yours are groundless?
And why is that? If I was born their child...
Because you and Polybus were not related.
What do you mean?
No, he was as much your father as I am your mother. No more, no less.
Then why did you call me his son?
If you must know, he received you many years ago as a gift. I gave you to him.
He really loves me. How could he, if I came from someone else?
Well, before you came, he had no children. That made him love you.
When you gave me to him, had you brought me or found me by accident?
I found you in Cithaeron's forest valleys.
What were you doing wandering up there?
I just love nature. I'm a farmer, you know.
When you picked me up and took me away, what sort of suffering was I going through?
The ankles on your feet could tell you that.
Ah, my own misfortune. Why mention that?
Your ankles had been tied together forcefully. I set them free.
My dreadful mark of shame. I've had that scar since I was a child. Tell me, in the name of Pi, why did my parents, my father or my mother, do this to me?
I don't know. Sappho knows more about that than I do.
You mean to say you got me from someone else? It wasn't you who stumbled upon me.
No, it wasn't me. Sappho gave you as a baby to me. She's the one who saved you.
Who? Who was she? Do you know? Can you tell me any details? One, do you know for certain?
Well, she was Elias' chauffeur.
Is she still alive? Can I still see her?
You people live here. You best answer that.
The woman he mentioned is, I think, the very peasant from the fields you wanted to see earlier. But if this Jocasta could tell more than anyone.
Do you know the man we sent for just minutes ago? The one he summoned here? Is he the one this courier refers to as she?
Why ask me what she means? Forget all that. There's no point in trying to sort out what she said.
With all these indications of the truth in here in my grasp, I cannot end this now. I must reveal the details of my birth.
No! If you have some concerns for your own life, then stop. Do not keep investigating this. I will suffer. That will be enough.
Be brave.
Listen to me. I beg you, do not do this.
I will not be convinced I should not learn the whole truth of what these facts amount to.
But I care about your own well-being. What I tell you is for your own benefit.
What you're telling me for my own good just brings me more distress.
Oh, you unhappy man. May you never find out who you really are. Alas, you poor miserable man. There's nothing more that I can say to you. And now, I'll never speak to you again.
Jocasta runs into the house.
I fear a disastrous storm will soon break through her silence.
Then let it break. Whatever it is. As for myself, no matter how base my family, I wish to know the seed from where I came. Perhaps she is now ashamed of me and of my insignificant origin. She likes to play the noble lady, but I will never feel myself dishonored. I see myself as a child of fortune, and she is generous, that mother of mine from whom I spring, and the months, my siblings, have seen me by turns both small and great. That's how I was born. I cannot change to someone else, nor can I ever cease from seeking out the facts of my own birth. Although I've never seen the man we've been looking for a long time now, if I had to guess, I think I see her.
Yes, I recognize the man-like woman. There's no doubt. She worked for Laius.
Sappho, the driver, approaches them accompanied by Hercules and Pythagoras.
Stranger from Corinth, let me first ask you, is this the man you mentioned?
Philoctetes and Sappho hug.
Yes, she is the person you see in front of you.
You, over there. Look at me. Now answer what I ask. Some time ago, did you work for Laius?
Yes.
How did you live? What was the work you did?
I was his chauffeur.
Do you know if you came across this woman anywhere? On Cythera, maybe.
Doing what? What do you mean?
The woman over there. This one. Have you ever run into her?
Right now, I can't say I remember her.
So you just hug strangers?
Mr. Rex, that's surely not surprising. Let me refresh her failing memory. I think she will remember all too well the time we spent around Cytherion. I was with her there for 6 months at a time, a stretch, from early spring until the autumn season. Isn't that what happened, what I've just said?
You spoke the truth, but it was long ago.
All right then. Now tell me if you recall how you gave me a child, an infant boy, to find foster parents for.
What? Why ask about that?
This man here, my beautiful friend, was that young child back then.
Damn you, can you keep quiet about it?
Hold on. Don't criticize her. What you have said is more objectionable than her account.
Mr. Rex, what have I done wrong?
You did not tell us of that infant boy, the one she asked about.
That's what she says. But she knows nothing.
If you won't tell us of your own free will, once we start to hurt you, you will talk.
By all means, don't torture me.
Hercules, tie her hands up.
Hercules starts moving towards her.
Why are you doing this to me? I'm too old for this. What is it you want to know?
That child she mentioned. Did you give it to her?
I did. How wish I had died that day.
Well, you're going to die if you don't speak the truth.
And if I do, there's an even greater chance that I'll be killed.
It seems to me you're trying to stall.
No, I'm not. I've already told you. I did give her the child.
Where did you get it? Did it come from your home or someone else, or somewhere else?
It was not mine. I got it from someone.
Which of our citizens? Whose home was it?
In the name of the Anunnakis, don't ask, please. No more questions.
If I have to ask again, then you will die.
The child was born in Laius' house.
From some relative of his?
Allah, what am I about to say now? It's horrible.
And I'm about to hear it. But nonetheless, I have to know this.
If you must know, they said the child was his, but your wife is the one who could best tell you what was going on.
You mean she gave the child to you?
Yes.
Why did she do that?
So I would kill it. I, who can't even kill an ant.
That wretched woman was the mother?
Yes. She was afraid of dreadful prophecies.
What sort of prophecies?
The story went that he would kill his father.
If that was true, why did you give the child to this woman?
I pitied the boy, and she rescued him only to save him for the greatest grief of all. For if you are the one who says you are, know your birth carried an awful fate.
Ah, so it all came true. It's so clear now. Oh, Light, let me look at you one final time. A man who stands revealed as cursed by birth, cursed by my own family, and cursed by murder where I should not kill.
Oedipus enters the house in rage, but he seems out of balance too. Sappho almost fainted. Bilites holds her and takes her away. Hercules and Pythagoras are standing next to Sophocles, and they're looking at each other, not knowing what to say. Interior, Oedipus' house, corridor, day. We hear Jocasta scream. Oedipus is shocked. He walks towards his bedroom slowly and fearfully. The door is ajar. We can see Jocasta's feet hanging. Quickly he opens the bedroom door. Interior, Oedipus' house, bedroom, day. Oedipus enters the bedroom, to find Jocasta, having committed suicide, is hanging from a rope. He cries and howls. In anger, he attacks the bed when he sorts of collapses and starts hugging Jocasta's corpse.
You will no longer see all those atrocious things I suffered, the dreadful things I did. No, you have seen those you never should have looked upon, and those I wished to know you did not see me. So now and for all future time, be dark.
He then blinds himself with her brooches. Exterior, Oedipus' house, backyard, day. Oedipus exits from the house to fall on his knees.
Ah! Ah! Alas, alas, how miserable I am. Such wretchedness. Where do I go? How can the wings of air sweep up my voice? Oh, my destiny, how far you have sprung now.
To a fearful place from which men turn away, a place they hate to look upon.
Oh, the dark horror wrapped around me. This nameless visitor I can't resist, swept here by fair and fatal winds. Alas for me, and yet again, alas for me. The agony of stabbing brooches pierces me. The memory of aching shame.
In your distress, it's not astonishing. You bear a double load of suffering, a double load of pain.
Oh, my friend, so you still care for me, as always, and with patience nurse me. Now I'm blind. Alas, alas, you're not hidden from me. I recognize you all too clearly. Though I am blind, I know that voice so well.
You have carried out such dreadful things. How could you dare to blind yourself this way?
In my wretched life, why should I have eyes when nothing I could see would bring me joy?
What you have said is true enough.
What is there for me to see, my friends? What can I love? Whose greeting can I hear and feel delight? Hurry now, my friends. Lead me away from Thebes. Take me somewhere, man completely lost, utterly accursed, the mortal man despised the most.
Unhappy in your fate and in your mind, which now knows all. Would I had never known you.
Whoever freed my feet, released me from that cruel shackle and rescued me from death, may that person die. It was a thankless act. Had I perished then, I would not have brought such agony to myself or to my friends.
I agree. I would have preferred your death as well.
I would not have come to kill my father, and men would not see me in the husband of the woman who gave birth to me.
Now I am abandoned, the son of a corrupted mother, conceiving children with the woman who gave me my own miserable life. If there is some suffering more serious than all the rest, then it too belongs in the fate of Oedipus.
I do not believe what you did to yourself is for the best. Better to be dead than alive and blind.
Don't tell me what I have done is not the best. And from now on, spare me your advice. Perhaps you think the sight of my own children might give me joy? No! Look how they were born. They can never bring delight to the eyes of mine. I am the most abhorred of men. With such polluting stains upon me, could I set eyes on you and hold your gaze? No! And if I could somehow block my ears and kill my hearing, I would not hold back. I'd make a dungeon of this wretched body, so I would never see or hear again. For there is joy in isolated thought, sealed off from a world of sorrow. O Cythereon, why did you shelter me? Ah, Polybus and Corinth, the place men called my home, my father's ancient house. You raised me well, so fine to look at, so corrupt inside. Oh, you three roads, do you remember me? What I did there in front of you? And what else I did when I came here to Thebes? Ah, you marriage rites. You gave birth to me. And then when I was born, you gave birth again. Children from the child of that same womb, creating an incestuous blood family of fathers, brothers, children, brides, wives, and mothers. The most atrocious act that human beings commit. But it is wrong to talk about what it is wrong to do. Act quickly. Hide me somewhere outside the land of Thebes, or slaughter me, or hurl me in the lake, where you will never gaze on me again. Come, allow yourself to touch a wretched man. Listen to me, and do not be afraid, for this disease infects no one but me.
Hercules and Pythagoras help Oedipus up. Sophocles hands Oedipus a hooded cape and a foldable cane. At which point Oedipus gets a flashback of the pub scene from the beginning to discover the hooded stranger, Tiresias, was in fact him. Sophocles goes inside the house and Creon approaches.
Oedipus, I have not come here to mock or blame you for disasters in the past. But if you can no longer value human beings, at least respect yourself and do not put on a show of this kind in such a public way.
Since you are acting now so differently from what I would expect, and have come here to treat me graciously.
That is something I could do, of course.
Will you then be making a request on my behalf when I am so depraved?
I will.
I have a task for you as I make this plea. That woman in the house, please bury her as you see fit. As for my two sons, Creon, there is no need for you to care for them on my behalf. They are men. Thus, no matter where they are, they'll always have enough to live on. But my two poor daughters have never known my dining table placed away from them, or lack their father's presence. They share everything I touched. That's how it's always been. So take care of them for me.
I know the joy they've always given you.
I wish you well. Promise me, you noble soul, you will extend your hand to them.
Oedipus walks away into the horizon. Creon, who was resisting getting emotional, tears up. Interior, Kingsley's apartment. Bedroom, day. Kingsley and Cynthia are in bed celebrating with glasses of wine.
Congratulations, Mr. Kingsley, on your film being accepted into Cannes.
Congratulations to you too, Mrs. Kingsley, for a stellar performance without which the film would have not been. Now let's get back to business.
They kiss and drink wine, and then they disappear under the sheets.
Good job, everyone. So I can see Creston is here. So feel free to turn on the camera and mic and we can have a short conversation here before we end the event. And anyone is welcome, by the way, to if you want to add anything or have questions or comments, go ahead.
Congratulations. It was fantastic. It is an achievement.
Thank
All
you
of
so
you.
much.
It's amazing. Really. If anyone has questions, feel free to type them in on the live stream link. And I'm happy to present those questions to any one of these great readers and a composer. Well done, Robert. That was amazing.
Thank you. And also, like, maybe we can begin with the cast members. If you have comments or questions, if you want to say anything about your experience today, that would be a good time. We can talk about that. I love the wigs and the creative costume choices and props that many of you brought to this. That was fantastic.
Yeah, it was really great. And, you know, for the most part, with the latency issues that you run into doing this online and exchanging dialogue, it worked out really well. And there was no major like glitches. And there was one microphone issue, I think, early on, but that was fixed. So that was well done.
Yeah.
I also think, considering how many of us were involved, I mean, you know, so many things can go wrong with audio or internet connection, especially since we're from different countries. I agree, it went really well. And I also wanted to say that, you know, when you do a virtual reading, it may seem at first thought cold, you know, distant, but I actually enjoyed this way more than I expected, and I had so much fun, and I just felt the connection with you guys, all of you, virtually. So it was lots of fun, and thank you so much for the opportunity.
Oh, thank you.
I think this is kind of actually a really great way to do a table read in a strange kind of way. I did one of these in the very early days of COVID where everything was moving online, and it's you're in your space, you have your things, but you get to listen to everyone else because there's no distractions from the place around you. It's quite nice. So I'm happy to have taken a part.
Yeah.
Robert, I was wondering if people could just come on and just say their names once again. I know you introduced them, but it would be nice for people to just once again just say their names, because now after they played the part, it's nice to make that connection.
Yes, please feel free to do so. Maybe we can go in the same order of the cast list so that it's not awkward and people cutting themselves off. So, Connie, I guess you start.
My name is Maria Costanza Garrido Sierralta. So yeah, I read a lot of the screen directions and little roles of Jenna and the Sphinx and Aphrodite.
And Connie, because, you know, we're married, she also saw me many, many years ago when I was writing this and working on this. And I made 2 feature films, and I thought that I'm not going to do this unless I have the proper budget to do it. For this to be done well, like, and so since I don't have the money, this is like the closest thing I can come to it that's fun, right? Yeah. And who knows, maybe Netflix or Amazon Prime will contact us after this, and you'll like, I'll try to tempt you with a big check. All right, so Ian, you can go next.
Yeah, okay, I'm Ian Parker, and I play Dr. Wolf and Laius, and didn't realize until Robert said it at the beginning that I was also doing Tiresias. But luckily I have a cloak from Morocco, so I was able to rush downstairs and get that.
Did you enjoy playing a Jungian?
That's why I got my friend. That's why I got
Protestant heresy.
All right. Up next, Shireen. Shireen and I worked many years ago on a short film together called NWO, which is on my YouTube channel if you all want to check it out. And so we go way back. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Shirin Kayola. I read for Jocasta and Cynthia.
Okay, Kirsten, my colleague and friend from northern New Mexico.
I'm Kirsten Figursky, and I read Marilyn and so many pronunciations at Hypatia or Hypatia. I've been looking up all these different ones, so that's what I read.
Ali is a very old friend of mine from AUC, American University in Cairo days. So is Eddie, Adham Zidane. So they're my friends from Egypt back when I was pursuing my undergrad. So we've done many projects together, plays, short films, feature films. So we go way, way back.
Huh. Nice.
Yep. Eddie!
Good to see you, Ali.
Yeah, like Robert once cast us as the grandmother and grandfather pair in Jack and the
My very first wife.
Yeah, so they're referring to Jack or the Submission.
Eugene Ionesco play.
Eugene Ionesco, yeah. So I directed that. That was what, 2005, 2000?
5, yeah. Yeah.
No, actually 2006.
2006.
Then early 2006.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and that's also filmed and it's online if you're interested. I can share that. But yeah, you both did a great job back then. I know you hated playing those roles, but then looking back in retrospect,
it's fantastic.
Right.
But yeah, we fought. We fought over the casting decisions.
I would love
you quoted Monty Python to try to like
any good marriage.
Right. So there's always torture when there's acting, right? I mean, that's part of it. But Ali, so yeah, I mean, we have a mixed group of like psychoanalysts, actors, artists, scholars. So Ali is an actor, Shireen is an actress. So it's fascinating to think about that too. So Clint.
Hey, yeah, I did want to say, Ali, you really brought it. I loved our scenes together. You even had good lighting, man. You should be able to get any kind of role you want right now. Just auditioning from home. I think you're ready to go.
I have a whole setup here, so it's been working out great for me.
Yeah, very professional. Yeah, that was lots of fun. Clint Burnham from Vancouver. I played Creon. And like Ian, I only realized I was also doing Joshua. Luckily, it's only one line today when Robert mentioned it. But yeah, this is lots of fun.
And one of the things you were talking about, Clint, is like how this is like Creon to be, because it's like the Creon before Antigone. So it's like before, the power and all of that. So that was interesting too, right?
And isn't this also Robert Beshara before Zizek or Lacan? I mean, you said therapist in there. Your roots are really showing here, bro.
Right. And then Fernanda.
Hello. Well, I was the one playing Sappho and Robert, Hermes, and the chorus. And I'm a psychoanalyst, and I felt very good to be here. Here it was not so quiet, even if it's in the middle of the pandemics, because I'm with my family in Acapulco. So in this part, it's supposed to be a little bit more quiet, but there are the kids all over the place, shouting and crying. So it was fun, and thank you very much, Robert.
Oh, thank you. And I loved how you presented Robert with the sunglasses and the cat.
Yeah, that was really good. I like that too.
Yeah.
Hilda.
Hi, Robert. Twitter friends. Yeah. And I play Nadia and Bilitis. And I had a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. My partner was my colleague Fernanda in most of the scenes. It was really fun. Just to have that playful kind of exchange. And I really admire Oedipus and Leos. Everybody did a beautiful job, and I really enjoyed thoroughly. So thank you for the invitation. I had a blast, really.
No, thank you for being part of it. And then Irene.
Hi, I'm Irene. I was reading Barbara and Merope and Dan. And at the beginning of the reading, I was so inspired by Ian and also Kirsten and Fernando's performance, like having this prompts and wigs, that I texted my son, "Can you get me a fake beard?" And he actually, I could literally hear he was running around the apartment and finally was successful and got me a fake beard. So thanks, that was fun.
That was cool. Martin, since we didn't hear you when you were auditioning, can we hear that part?
Then I would have to go all the way back to.
When you were, it's page 8.
I can't do it in the exact same way again. It's all gone, but we can record it again later, I suppose.
But I saw you jumping up and down.
You
were like doing this.
Yeah.
And you were just so animated.
What you guys don't know, this was actually the way in which I intended it. So it was deliberate that you didn't hear me. No, no, it's so sorry. I mean, I don't even want to talk about it. I don't know why it didn't work. Normally setup is stable. So anyways, I'm Martin, and I played Martin and the Quiet Ken and Polybus and Socrates, obviously, last one. And
you also played the mute.
And I played Mute, yeah.
The mute dancer.
And Robert and I go way back, all the way to the beginning of 2020, when we first met at a conference in Tokyo.
Yeah,
so,
we met in Tokyo, like when the pandemic was becoming like hysterical. So it was interesting. Yeah.
Crazy.
And Ted, of course, I mentioned you in the introduction. You also are connected to this project, and it was important for me that you play a part in it.
Yeah, thanks. It was cool to revisit it, especially, thinking about your Chicago days. I'm in Chicago now still. And that part was cool for me, and also just sort of revisit it, remembering when you were at Governor State, right? And we were collaborating on it. So yeah, it was cool. David, I played David.
Yeah, and all the Chicago references there too. You can see that.
Yeah, that was cool.
So if I don't know how many of you have been to Chicago, but it's like it's more vivid when you know those places, right? You can actually imagine those places.
Yeah, like some of them are known, like and some are sort of a little more obscure, like Blackstone Library, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, thanks for being part of this. And of course, last but not least, also Adam, Eddie, we go way back, like Ali. So
yeah, hello. I'm Adam Zidane. I studied theater in AUC with Robert and Ali, and Ali and I had similar hairs, and mine kind of went away, and yours is like sort of reaching towards the sky. I'm just really loving the David Lynch situation happening over there.
Pandemic hair.
It's glorious. But yeah, now I play music mostly. I am also a mixer, a recordist, and like an engineer and a producer for other people's work. And I've been kind of mixing really intensely for the last 10 days, kind of working 16-hour days. So this has been extremely pleasurable to sort of shift gears and come and do this with you all. And, I was reading on my studio computer and I pressed space by mistake. And
I heard some music at some point.
Part of the mix blasted through just in the middle of it. And I was like, okay, no. And then I lost the script, and it was a whole thing in the moment where I left you hanging, Ali.
No, it's all right. That actually happened at a very appropriate moment. Like,
right? Just like searching for words to say in this really awkward moment.
Eddie is he's very humble, but he's a very important figure in the underground music scene in Cairo, in Egypt, and the Arab world. So check out his stuff. Check out his stuff.
Send it in the group if you don't mind. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Post it on the YouTube channel. That would be great on the chat, if you could.
Yeah,
like
so
shameless promotion of all things.
You can also send it to the email group since we're.
I'll do that. Yeah.
But yeah. So does anyone have any questions or comments, or Creston, any cast member, anything I can answer? All right.
Well, I'll just say a few comments. First, this is screaming out for a production. Really, it is. And what I like about it is it's a kind of simulacra in a way, a fold of a fold, and a reflection, and how those double entendres and the echoes can really be played out. And so I would love to see this be produced. So yeah. I mean, I'm close friends with Oliver Stone, but he's not really into the Netflix thing. But anyway, I'll see what, fish it out. If you could send me a copy of these.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be amazing. I love Oliver Stone. I love his work. And the other thing too, of course, that you all notice is the plague theme and
yes,
COVID-19 and the resonance there. So that was interesting too, obviously, that in a way, Sophocles is always relevant and always ahead of himself, right? And that's interesting, right?
Yeah, that's great. Well, again, it's an achievement to be able to actually, I don't know if all of you remember early days Zooming, even before Zoom was Zooms, like Google Hangouts, but all the echoes and all the sound, the background noises and all the tech drops, this was really like hitting 98% compared to what it could be. And so, and I've never used this platform. So,
yeah.
It's,
I can say a little bit about my choice with this. Some of you know that I experienced like a terrible Zoom bombing experience in May of this year. Actually, Ted knows very well. I actually received a death threat, and
we were there together.
Yeah, we were there together, and of course Martin and Irene and Coney know about this. But the Zoom security is terrible, and Zoom, of course, has colonized our lives. And when we tried to express this to them, they didn't seem to care so much. I mean, I had to like take this to the FBI and local police and stuff. In any case, Jitsi is an open source alternative to Zoom. So that's what I like about it. That's why I chose this platform.
Okay.
And also the research shows that the security features are better here.
speaking of the Zoom bombing, when we had Jean-Luc Nancy lecture for us, and Braha Edinger was also on, and we had neo-Nazis from Utah's where they traced out the IP address that came on, and wow, it was, and there was nothing we could do. It was just taken over. And
Right.
so, yeah.
Right. So that's why I did this way. So YouTube live stream from here. The only issue is I think it stopped every 1 hour. So I had to redo it. So there's some parts that are lost, but not too much. I might have to think about how to solve that in the future. But otherwise, I think it went pretty well.
Yeah, don't use Safari. Just don't. But other than that, it really went well. So that was the reason why my microphone went off. I switched to the other app over there, and then when browser was not the active window anymore, it turned off the microphone. That's how it happened.
So did you switch to Chrome? Which browser were you on?
No, I'm in Firefox now. I would never, ever, ever, ever install Chrome on any machine I run.
Yeah,
that's not happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I mean, what I wanted to add quickly, I think we're also maybe, I don't know, running out of time, but just as a quick comment, yes, I think we, the big we of people working in the online world achieved quite a lot and come very close to what we can do when we're actually sitting at the table. What I'm thinking about is what is qualitatively different here in what we do here, what has changed compared to sitting in one room. And I think one of the things that have changed is it slows everything down. It makes everything much slower. We're much more attentive to how other people behave on the screen, how we can possibly connect to everyone who's there in order not to interrupt people. We are much more able to stand silence for a moment. Exactly. So that I find really interesting. I think that's something that is qualitatively maybe even enriching. Yeah.
Cool. So, I mean, if you don't have any more questions or comments, I think it's a good point to
well
end.
done. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Like, you did a great job. So
Thank you so much.
I'll share this with
Thank
you
you
all.
so much.
Happy holidays.
Bye.
Bye.
Happy holidays back. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.